What's up, family? Super excited and welcome back to the podcast, Man Turning Hustle into Legacy. Listen, this episode is for anyone who's ever felt behind in life, overlooked, stuck in a season that doesn't make sense, like everyone is just moving faster than you. This message is for you, okay? This title is called Divinely Positioned, but Not Delayed. Pooh, speak on it, Dr.Stance. Listen, because what you've been calling a delay might actually be divine alignment. Let's be clear. Sometimes God slows you down, not to stop you, but to save you, baby. Let's talk about it. So, the difference between delay and positioning. Delay feels like nothing is happening ever. You're just at a standstill. But positioning feels uncomfortable, quiet, and that shit's slow as hell. But here's the truth. Delays come from resistance. Positioning comes from preparation. If God delayed everything you asked for, nothing would ever come. But if God positions you correctly, everything comes in order. So you're not behind, you're being placed. So why does God slow you down? Because character may need to catch up with calling, okay? Healing may need to happen before promotion. Your discernment needs to be sharpened. Your pride needs to be stripped, okay? Dependency on him needs to be deeper. It needs to be deeper. Speed without structure, it leads to collapse. It leads to destruction, okay? God cares more about who you become than how fast you arrive. I love that because what God does is it's in a hidden season. Okay, hidden seasons are sacred. And this is where your identity is formed. Faith is tested. Your discipline is built. Obedience is proven. You don't see roots growing, right? But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. When you plant a plant, you do not see the roots growing. But that doesn't mean that this plant is finna grow expeditiously. So God does his deepest work, but guess what? It's underground. Right? Exposure too early would break you. Okay? Too much exposure to that plant will not help it grow. So God hides you until you're ready. One thing that I know that will lie to you is comparison. Shout out to DTB, Diamond with the Body, line that shit up from the Bad Girls Club when she came on the podcast and she said comparison is a sickness. Because what it will do is it will hinder you from your growth. It convinces you that you're ahead or you missed the moment or you should even be further now. No. Comparison ignores different callings. It ignores different assignments and timelines and even costs. Okay? It definitely costs. But just because someone arrived faster, that doesn't mean they arrived prepared. Let's be clear. Your path by God is customized, but your timing must be intentional. So here are some signs where you're divinely positioned. You're learning patience. You're being stretched emotionally. You're developing your discernment. You're being refined internally. You know, some old doors are closing and new clarity is kind of forming. Like if God was done with you, there would be no growth. Pressure often precedes placement. So you got to kind of stay where God put you. Don't rush out of season meant to strengthen you. Impatience can sabotage your position. So if God placed you there, there's something to learn. It's something to shed and it's definitely something to build. Timing isn't about speed. It's about being ready. For example, when I started the adult residential, shout out to Dr.Stance and me, myself, and I just got the license a few days ago. When I first started that process, oh my gosh, I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what I was doing. Same with the podcast, same with this. Building a podcast studio for my foster youth and for people, you know, in need of mental health services and a platform, a safe platform to come and share their story to help others. I didn't know what I was doing with that. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. But God actually created a path for me to make it happen. All I did was follow the process and I showed up ready. Okay. I didn't sabotage my position by being impatient. I followed through with what I said I was going to do, and I paid attention to the discernment that God blessed me with so I can make this happen, not just for me, but for my foster kids and for others that need that safe environment. Okay, shout out to, the people that's catering to our youth that need a space, a safe space for them to open up about their mental health issues. It is very small. It's a very small space. But I'm going to tell you this, if God placed you there, there's definitely a reason. So take advantage of that. Because some people don't even understand the alignment. They don't understand the assignment. I think that was the message last week in church. If you don't understand the assignment, you lost in the sauce. You got to pay attention. Okay? But the most important thing, you got to stay where God put you. So I'm going to leave y'all with this. You're not delayed. You are not forgotten, and you are not overlooked. You are divinely positioned by our Father. So one thing you got to do is trust the process. You got to stay obedient, and you got to honor the season. Because when God releases you, I'm telling you, nothing will be able to stop you. Nothing. So listen, if you like this message and it spoke to you, I want you to like, subscribe, and share with someone who's questioning their timing. But I need y'all to remember this. God's timing isn't late. It's perfect because he's perfect. We'll talk soon. I holla.